Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since I've actually gotten out and kind of done anything out in the wild. Laziness, a little weather transitions with rain and a lot of wind, but that's very typical this time of year out here in Arizona. But today I'm getting out and I've got a little steak I bought the other day for actually to do something last week. Got to get it cooked here, and I've got a little new optic I'm trying out, like a kind of a budget optic I'm trying out. So I have to zero it on my 300 blackout. So I thought, usually back in the day when I used to go out and do a lot of range time, I would just gear up, go out, set up targets, and I don't know, be out there a couple hours depending on the day. If it was a day off, it'd be like 4 hours. If it was a kind of a work day, I could maybe get an hour and a half in. And being that it's like 25 minutes away, it's not that bad. But today I'm trying something a little different. I'm gonna set up like I would be just doing some off-roading, which I'm off-roading right now back in here. This is a different location for me. I found this winter when I was doing some off-roading on some trails that I kind of went part of the way down the track, and then it got really nasty, so I would just turn around. And there was this one day I was just like, whatever, I'm going for it, and ended up coming out like closer to the kind of the main road to get back into this area. This is if you see any of my videos, this is my high desert area that I go into a lot. You can kind of look and see. What it looks like, but I'm just kind of closer to the road. Normally I would come in a few miles that way and I would make a long track, about an 8-mile track. But it's one of those things, you're going like 70, then all of a sudden you got to time it right so no one's behind you trying to pass you, no one's coming the other way. You got to time it to go off on one of these little dirt road offshoots. But there's a nice big kind of mountain here as a backdrop, all right here. You could shoot from down here up if you wanted to get some range. Excuse me. But I thought today would be interesting. I just set up like I said, get my awning out like I was going to be cooking, but relax and do a little zeroing. That stuff is really, you're not really dumping a lot of rounds, and it's pretty relaxing. So I'm gonna try and get set up here. I think I'm gonna cook up first, get that kind of out of the way. It's about time for lunch anyway. Little breeze blowing across, really nice area to just kind of hang out. I can see some like fire pits around where people come out here and camp, where you don't have to go too far like off the beaten path if you just want to get out. Wind's actually really picking up, but it's blowing across this way. So I forgot about my mics on the t-shirt. They don't work very good. They flip upside down, so I can stick it to my hat. So I don't know if it'll sound weird, or it'll definitely look weird, but that's okay. Like I said, I'm gonna do some cooking here, and then I've got my blackout there. I'm just gonna do some strings to try and sight in this primary arms optic, and I'm trying the taller Unity Tactical riser on it because it's like a little bit better for me. I still have to get down a little bit on it, but I don't think I would want to go much higher. I know there's some out there that are a little bit higher, but without like running a laser and stuff with it, to me it's like really tall. I don't know. We'll see. This is going to be my first time trying it out, so I got the table out and the cooker set up. A little bit different type of packaging in this one. So I got a Sprouts organic top sirloin grass-fed steak. So we'll see how this is. Different shape than the other top sirloin. The other ones, they have that wrap around it. It's almost like a filet mignon. This is different packaging. See if the juice leaks everywhere. It's probably better to cook before I shoot, because you can get like lead, you know, all over your hands. I tell you, growing up and all the years I've been doing this, I never really thought about that a lot, honestly. And probably the worst is like when you're shooting steel targets. Man, there's a lot of lead all over the place with that. Lots of lead. And it can give you like, you know, like heavy metal stuff. Heavy metal. I mean, it'll take years and years of it, but some of the military guys I know, they would be out like on the flat range day after day after day, you know, and they'd shoot and they'd, you know, take a chew and put it in their mouth with their hands. And you're just basically putting like lead right into your lip. And some of them actually had been tested later on for lead and heavy metals, and they had a lot in there from that. Pretty wild. It's the little things like that you never think about, you know? Think about it. All right, steak. I'm gonna cook steak, eat steak, do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Should be really fun. While that thing's cooking a little bit, I'll come out here in the sun from the shade of the awning. It's pretty good. You do have to plan for where the sun is. You know, if you just park anywhere and throw out your awning, it could be, it could really be really bad. But if you kind of look in the background, it's pretty nice here. It's just a big kind of open area. Got nice hills here. I know what's on the other side of everything. You just can't do anything that way because there is a road over there about 1.5 miles that way. Kind of runs across. I can hear the cars just because the wind is blowing. But it's still really nice. So a couple areas out here were some of my desert ranges, up and over this mountain behind me, or this mound behind me that way, about 5 miles down that way. Nice, open. I could get out to about 800 there, like safely, without like shooting up and over a hill. You could do a pretty good job here too. I drove all the way over there, but there's a lot of ants over there on the ground. We get a lot of the black and red ants out here. Big suckers, man. You gotta watch out. You could trip over them. They're that big. Not too bad right here, but over there was a lot of them, and the hill was downhill. Facing up the hill with the back of the car was downhill and off to the side. No real like comfortable place to kind of hang out. So I doubled back to here, and this seems to be a pretty decent spot. I mean, I don't know if you could call them clouds, but that's about it over there. That little bitty string there. And then over here, behind me over here, a little bit there. Other than that, no clouds. Said breezy. In the springtime here, we always get wind or, stuff like that. But honestly, it's probably somewhere in the 70s, Maybe a little warmer. I doubt it, but maybe in the 70s. But with a little breeze, it makes it nice. When it's hot, like 90, 100, and you get wind, that's when you just get that windburn feeling. And I'm against that. I've made my case for wind a lot, but this right here, it's a little breezy, not too bad. Not plan on spending a whole day out here anyway, so should be pretty good. Looking pretty good. It's been resting for a while. Nice old gentleman pulled up, came up, talked to me. Just want to make sure that we're in good areas. He's testing out some hand loads, he said, so it's going to be kind of over there a little bit. So if you hear anything in the background, it's him. I can appreciate that. Sometimes you'd be out in the wild and someone either doesn't come over and talk to you, and they just kind of line up and start throwing lead in every direction, or kind of a group of people just pull up on you fast like it's no big deal. He was nice and slow, stayed kind of back. Then you talk and you know that there's no crazies, right? I've had it where people like Niels and I were out doing some Can We Survive stuff in the middle of like nowhere. And it was like 10 o'clock at night, super dark night. Saw truck lights in the distance. And they just came right up to us at 10:30 at night. Like, what? What are you doing? You don't pull up to someone's camp at nighttime. And they were out there just to shoot, night shoot, shotguns, I guess. Guns thought it was funny because I didn't say anything, I didn't do anything, but I had my chest. It's not a chest rig. It's just like a hill people gear, kind of like you can carry a pistol in there, but you can carry like your compass, your knife, and chem lights. It's a nice thing. It wears it here, except not a backpack or a belt. But I had my Glock 10 millimeter because we were in bear country. Had my 10 millimeter out, and I had it racked kind of just behind my back like this, talking to the guy. It was very strange, but it was him and his girlfriend. I'm like, dude, you don't drive up to someone's camp 10:30 at night. Like, I'm ready to put some through the radiator just to keep you at a distance, see what's going on. Because it's not like it was open desert like this. It was kind of high grass, and you had to take these little dirt trails back to us. And we were up against the mountain, and it's just very strange. Very strange. All right, so I got this cut up, cooked perfectly. Wow. You guys are right. You guys told me, man, you got to quit. Oh, just this morning, you guys were telling me, you got to quit buying those cheap steaks, the cheap cuts. Big difference. I'm like, yeah, I was just trying to, I was actually just trying to get in tune with what most people can afford if you're going to try and take meat out all the time. But such a difference in quality. And just this morning on the news, they said there's a big recall from Walmart for some type of meat where there's like E. coli or something in it. So this I got from Sprouts. Oh, it's pretty good. Pretty good. See when I don't need to like cut it in really small pieces. Normally I don't buy like the packaged meat from Sprouts. It's right next to the butcher, but I'll say, I want that one right there, and they wrap it up and weigh it, and out you go. But I think this stuff is like, I don't know, it's just as good. But this is grass-fed. There's a legitimate huge difference in taste. Like the flavor of this is crazy good. And it's just enough for like out here, I'm just out hanging out. No sides, just like, it'd be like bringing out a sandwich or something with you, except forget everything else and get to the good part, just the meat. And I don't know, I think it's about $6. How much is a foot-long sandwich from, name your sandwich place? Pretty dang good. Pretty good so far. My first shot was really low, and you got to remember the height over bore on these taller sights. It's about 3.5, 3 3/4 inches at like living room range, living room to front door range. So I aimed at the top edge of the target, which was about this far down to the dot, and then I just sunk 5 of them right in the square. So pretty good, no adjustments. I don't usually like to make wild adjustments unless, you know, I'm completely missing or it's way off. This seems like pretty good so far, so it's going to take a few times and then I'll set it out. It probably is a 9-inch, I think 9-inch 300 blackout suppressed. It's a MCX Virtus, and probably zero it for 30 meters. 30 meters is probably a good zero. And then you just do your holds, your holdover for that. Anything closer than out farther, you just, you know, point of aim, basically point of impact within a few inches up or down. I forgot how dang quiet these things are. I always wear my hearing protection just because, yeah, after decades of doing this, you know, your hearing is important. So super fun to get back out doing this. No, I'm not going to show a lot of what I'm actually doing. It's not my intention here. Just sharing with y'all what I'm doing. Been here a couple hours already now. Got it all packed up except for my awning. I actually picked up all my brass this time because I've never been to this spot, and I don't know if people come out and do that. So I picked up my brass. A lot of people have been on me about reloading. It's like I guess I have to. You know what reminded me was that the guy, he's gone already. He shot like 10 shots or something. He was testing his hand loads out, but you know, it's like the cost, like how much over time do you save? Because you got to get the equipment, you got to get the casings and all the stuff. I really know nothing about it, but it would be cool to kind of maybe fine tune my 300 blackout stuff. Because I shot some subsonic today, which was 220 grain, and then I shot some regular, you know, you say supersonic, but I had 147 and 150 grain, 2 different brands, Fiocchi, and I think I had some Barnaul in there or something. But man, it's S&B what I have subsonic, and the stuff is right on point. You know, I'm not looking to reach out really far with this thing, but you know, it's 100 yards and in, that thing is pretty wicked. Especially, I've got some SIG hot loads, some like 122 grain or 123 grain, somewhere in the 120, early 120s, and that stuff's hot. And it's solid copper, no lead. It's hollow point solid copper, wicked. I think that's what they hunt feral pigs with. But I can tell you that it seems like not terrible, but the perishable skill for me is pistol. Not necessarily rifle. Rifle's always been super easy for me. But I think my problem is I kind of switch back and forth between SIG and Glock a lot. And they're 2 different animals. One, the grip angle, you know, on them, like the SIG is more traditional, kind of 1911, more vertical grip, and then the Glock is really pitched like an A2 grip, where you feel like you have to kind of push the nose of the gun down. But the other thing is the height over bore. Glock's height over, you know, from basically your hand to the bore is a lot lower on Glock than it is on SIG. The SIG's kind of based off, I think they based the 320 off the 250, which is kind of like the 226, the old, what are those SIG that everyone loves, the hammer fired one. And that's why it's got a higher bore axis. But, you know, it's not, for me, recoil's not a thing on any caliber really, but it's different. It feels different. So it's tough because, you know, it's just like coming out to the flat range and having fun with different pistols. But at the end of the day, you know, I guess I can go back and forth between them pretty good. I feel like I shoot the Glocks better, and that's weird because early on I didn't, because I was coming from like a Beretta 92F, and I had a SIG P229, both hammer fired, full, you know, metal guns. And when I finally got a Glock, I got a Glock 34, which was my first one. And I didn't feel like I could shoot it that good, but now, so many years later, I can shoot them really good. Pretty green out here still. The sun hasn't made everything brown yet. I think that's going to do it for me today. You know, I know I didn't really show anything, but that wasn't my intention. Just hanging out, saying hello to everyone. It's been a while since I made a video, but that's okay. I'm not like trying to force anything out. And if I don't do anything, and I don't do anything, and that's what's kind of happened the last 3 weekends. But this was definitely a good, fun day to get out. And it's only Thursday. Thursday and Friday are my days off, so that's why I get to come out to places, and they're really usually not, that just happened to be that one guy, but usually there's no one, especially off-roading, camping, cooking, doing this. It's pretty cool. You come out on a Saturday, it's a different story. It's funny because you're like in the middle of nowhere, yet you'll find people. Even if people are within a couple miles of me, it's too much when I want to get away. All right, everyone, hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.